So, Mandalorian Season 2 is coming out in October. We've had that fire trailer with more footage of Baby Yoda and maybe footage of Pedro Pascal. So, what is good, YouTube? We're going to be talking about Mandalorian Season 2 and the drama behind the scenes. I might be a little bit late to this story, but this story is actually pretty interesting. So, what is good, YouTube? Warstu here. If you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the videos at the 100,000 subscribe mark. I will be giving away something pretty darn cool. Check us out on Instagram at Warstu, Twitter WarstuG. So, there's been a story emerging in the Mandalorian universe. Now, the Mandalorian is the only decent content that Disney has coming out this year. It pretty much is. Everyone can keep saying WandaVision's coming, but it said 2020. We haven't actually got a release date. I mean, if Mando's coming in October, then we should have a mandate already. So, the story initially came from my good friend who's blocked me on Twitter, Grace Randolph, where she says there is trouble behind the scenes with Pedro Pascal. Now, we're actually going to be reading an article from a website called Bounding Into the Comics, and a new rumor has emerged. The rumor comes from Grace Randolph, where she points to Entertainment Weekly recent spotlight on Mandalorian Season 2, where showrunner John notes Season 2 will introduce a larger story in the world. So essentially they're going to be focusing on independent episodes rather than building a connective universe, which literally makes no sense. Fagro, the new season is about introducing a larger story in the world, he adds. The story becomes less isolated, yet each episode has its own flavour, and hopefully we're bringing a lot more scope to the show. Hopefully it's still grounded, but you take away Baby Yoda and this show isn't that appealing, is it, guys? So, what is going on is essentially Pedro Pascal allegedly wanted more screen time with his face out. Apparently he doesn't like being under the helmet. Apparently it's very uncomfortable. To be fair, I'm pretty sure it is really, really heavy. So apparently he also wanted more money, wanted more screen time with the child. So this article here says, executive producer and director Dave adds, everything gets bigger, the stakes get higher, but also the personal story between the child and Mandalorian develops in a way I think people will enjoy. So why can't you let Pedro Pascal, get his face out? So allegedly he walked out of the show halfway into the season. Now it goes on to say, John would explain that they follow different storylines outside of Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian. He tells Entertainment Weekly, as we introduce other characters, there are opportunities to follow different storylines. I don't know why they have to keep introducing new characters and having independent episodes rather than having a concurrent storyline, which would make a lot more sense. So Grace Randolph, my good old friend, notes the evidence backed up by information which comes from two different sources. She goes out to note that it's rumored now that Pascal began when the actor wanted to film a number of scenes without the helmet on. I mean, there are people in the show that take the helmet off, so that would make sense. Randolph explains, whilst filming Season 2, Pedro really wanted to have some screen time with the helmet off. However, she notes the Mandalorian creative team wouldn't budge, so she continued, Pedro, from what I heard from two sources, was so freaking frustrated about this and being uncomfortable in the Mandalorian suit. He became difficult to be on set. The final straw came, even though he was difficult to be around the set, the final straw, he went to Lucasfilm, from what I've heard from sources, to try and get them to intervene on behalf. And you combine that with Lucasfilm already trying to get involved with parts of Season 2, which I also heard include focusing more on standalone episodes rather than being more connected, which makes more sense from what I've heard. Mandalorian creative team wanted to do what they wanted to do, and essentially that essentially is most of what Randolph Grace is saying. So it is a bit weird how they wouldn't let him take their helmet off. Randolph then details Pascal was asked to leave filming halfway through, but to be honest, ADR, it's just audio, like a voiceover, like I'm doing in studio now. He doesn't actually ever need to be in the suit, so to speak, realistically. So when Pedro went to Lucasfilm, the Mando team was like, you know what, you should just go, and Pedro did. Well, I guess they just need his voice. They don't really need him, so to speak, but he's getting paid a crazy amount of money to do the voice, essentially. She later states, now, as I've said, I've heard the breakup was pretty bad on both sides. So it's going to be interesting to see if we do notice any differences in the latter half of the season. Interestingly, in the same Entertainment Weekly article, Randolph originally cites regarding John teasing new storylines and characters. It also reveals that Pedro did in fact agree to take his helmet off to help Gianano film scenes, which is interesting. While the former MMA fighter, who also dated Henry Cavill, made her dramatic TV debut with the role, she's more confident this time around, explaining she was helped by Pedro agreeing to remove Mando's helmet during the scene whenever the camera was only on her. I mean, it is pretty uncomfortable, guys. I mean, you know these masks people have to wear in society now. Just imagine having a massive helmet over you, having to film. So yeah, I can see where they're coming from. So it states, Randolph notes, in the final season of season 1, Pascal did take his helmet off after he suffers what appears to be a fatal injury during a shootout with Moff Gideon forces. So it appears that Mandalorian's obviously supposed to keep the helmet on, but it is very compelling, very interesting how he walked off set halfway into the season. Apparently there's some crazy drama that he wanted to make more money. I mean, this story is going around for a few days now. There's a lot of websites sourcing essentially the same story, that he wanted more money, he wanted to take the helmet off, he wanted independent scenes with the kid, obviously Baby Yoda, by himself. I can't really understand why they wouldn't let him have scenes by himself with the helmet off. It realistically doesn't make any difference. I can't understand why they're trying to build a bigger universe rather than focusing on the Mandalorian and the main characters. They're introducing loads of random episodes that aren't concurrently connected. Hopefully season 2 can be good. They did such a good show with season 1, but it is Disney. But I've got faith in Mandalorian because the first season was so good. This show is so good because I spoke to multiple people who I know in real life who have no interest in Star Wars, but damn, Baby Yoda, they're interested, they're invested in the Mandalorian. This is a show they can't really mess up. So we don't know if he did walk out halfway through the season. Even if he did, he probably did ADR, which is additional dialogue, so to speak. So he doesn't actually physically have to be there. You only know he's there when he talks anyway, and doesn't specifically mean it's him. It's most likely the stunt double. It could be anyone in the Mandalorian suit. It just appears that there seems to be a lot of drama going on behind the scenes. I really hope this doesn't affect the overall season. I mean, having the helmet off, I mean, realistically, he is a pretty big star now. I mean, he's in the Wonder Woman 84 movie. He is a big actor, so to speak. So the fact that Lucasfilms tried to intervene and they couldn't, and they told him to go, allegedly, it's going to be interesting to see how this affects the season. I mean, Grace Randolph actually is right, so to speak, from what we're hearing and what other people were citing and other people's sources. But allegedly, the reason why people aren't agreeing with this scoop is because this happened after the season ended. He wanted to take the helmet off, he wanted more money and that kind of stuff. So the story is true, it's just the way it came out isn't specifically true. So like always, guys, let me know what you think. I will be covering Mandalorian Season 2. Did that first trailer hype you up for Mandalorian Season 2? It definitely hyped me up. But let's hope Pedro is still the person under the mask, even though we know he's not most of the time anyway. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. I'll catch you in another video very soon. If you want me to do more Mandalorian Season 2 videos up to the launch, just let me know in the comments down below, guys. And I will catch you in that next video very soon. Catch ya later.